Hello, everybody. We are hopefully live on Twitch. Hurrah! Hopefully, we've got some people jumping into chat to fundamentally confirm that we are going live. I know that there's a little bit of lead time between the stream and us actually going live. So just filling for a few moments here as perhaps some adverts and the like are playing. Thank you for jumping into chat. If you are there, give us a shout if you can hear us or me, and we will start. I can see that bots are doing, and we do have someone saying good evening already. Thank you. That is you, Michael, I'm guessing. No.
Me.
Aha, fantastic. I can't read it at the moment. I'm waiting for my other thing to come in. Anyway, welcome. This is our Dungeons and Dragons actual play prologue test stream, really, for our upcoming D&D charity stream, which, as you can see on the overlay, is aiming to be 23rd and 24th of August 2025, and will be running from midday on the Saturday to midday on the Sunday. And these fine people here, for all of their sins, have volunteered to test out this stream tonight, but also go the 24 hours for that. So thank you very much. Three great charities: the Trussell Trust, Doctors Without Frontiers, and Gendered Intelligence. We are in the process of getting links organised so that you can start donating. More on that later. As I say, this is a test one today. We will do an actual play. I'm going to introduce our cast first, and then once that is over, I will lead into the game itself. So, starting completely beneath me, not in a bad way, of course, that is you, Michael. Do you want to say a quick hello, introduce yourself? No need for characters at the moment. We'll do that in game.
Yeah, I did wonder whether that was the beneath one. Yeah, I'm Michael. I've been doing D&D for a bit. Happy to be here playing this and trying this out today.
Perfect. And to your left, my right, is Natascha.
Hello, everyone. I got a funny accent. That's because I'm Dutch. Sorry.
It's not funny. It's just different.
It's menacing.
It's menacing. I think it's wonderful. Sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
Yeah, so I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for about 10 years now, off and on. And I quite like it, so I'm stuck with Andy.
We'll come on to that in a minute. Last but not least, to your left is Kyle.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. I'm Kyle. I guess I've been playing probably around 7 years now, almost exclusively, at least for D&D, with Andy.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you all. For people who are watching who don't know, I run a large amount of games, Dungeons and Dragons and other TTRPGs, under the name Twisted Narrative. We have a Discord server. You'll find that in the socials on Twitch. We've got a great community there. We run a large number of games, and we decided as a community to come together and do this charity stream that's happening not now, but in August. So, without further ado, I think we should play some Dungeons and Dragons. So, you have adventured together in the past. You are in the world that is commonly known as Greyhawk, high fantasy world where everything is possible. But like the fledgling adventurers that you are, you still need to find both fortune and glory. You've cut your teeth in the free city of Greyhawk doing certain jobs, clearing out basements full of rats and the like. The traditional adventurer's life. But now, with scant equipment, you are following up on a tale that you overheard in a tavern. The tale, the rumours, if are true, are too good to put behind you. It seems that there is a fortress a stone's throw from the free city, and you can't believe your luck that the information you've got, this little scrap of map, is leading you to the ruins of Thar. The ruins of Thar are well known and have been plundered many times over, repopulated and, plundered again and again ad nauseum. Nothing really to be gained there. But the map that you have is not for the ruins of Thar, but for the dungeons beneath. Hitherto untold, unfound, and fortunes indeed to be found. Keeping this secret, you have made your way following this map over land. It's taken you a few days, and the journey has been fairly uneventful. But you now find yourselves at what you presume, if the map is right, the entrance to the dungeons of Thar. So, before I describe what you see, I would like you all to tell me and our fantastic audience what they see as they view you. So we'll do it in reverse order this time. We will start with you, Alfred. If this was a movie and the camera zooms down to you as a group and first picks you out, what does it see?
Oh, Alfred is a half-elf, pale in skin. He stands about 5'4", wearing a smart shirt and trousers with light leather strapped over the track, a sword at his hip, but more importantly, at least to him, a lyre in his hand, helping to pass the time as we make this trek.
Perfect. And as you view this entrance, is there any thoughts going through your mind?
I don't care if there's fame or fortune in here, but I really hope for the best story, for the tavern and many drinks when I get back.
Perfect. So, keen, eager, smile on your face. Excellent. The camera moves across to you, Shautha. What does it see there?
A pretty large half-orc, leaning towards the orky side of her parents with tusks and a skin hue that's not quite in the human race anywhere. Wearing a chainmail shirt and quite a large weapon, a glaive, and there's an even larger weapon strapped to her back, which is a maul. After spending 20 years in the military, she found out that pension is not a really big thing, so she decided to keep on rendering enemies into corpses to feed all the mouths back home.
Okay, very good. And what does this represent, this entrance, this potential fame,
Oh,
fortune.
the thought going to her mind is that I hope the hunter really got the map right this time.
Wow. Oh, wow. So I think you kind of look right across and we see Alder. Same question to you.
So Alder is a hill dwarf, while his beard and long hair, braided, may once have been a russety red. It's now streaked with grey and white. Relatively short for a dwarf, wearing scale mail armor, as he's found as he enters into his older years that it's better to be alive than to be quiet. There's other people who can be quiet. He carries a bow on his back, no pun intended, dwarfing him a little, it being a long bow and him being a dwarf. A couple of a short sword at his side and a shield. He is also looking at the map, possibly thinking the same thing, wondering whether he should have gone for the gold option when it came to the betting game that he got this from. He's here because he does a fair job hunting animals and getting their skin, but the money never seems to stay with him. Cards have a certain allure and the clink of gold, and he's, much as everyone's here and seems entirely trusting him with this map, he's looking at it thinking, gold would have been nicer, but we're here now. Maybe there's gold in here.
Well, I mean, it's very difficult for you to get this wrong because you're at the bottom of quite a large escarpment, a cliff that rises up above you. And atop of that cliff is the ruins of Thar, and they are foreboding. The walls have crumbled, covered with moss and ivy. So at least you're at the ruins. The dungeons, according to this map, the entrance should be here, and with your very own eyes you can see large ferns, vines dangling down this escarpment. It must be around here somewhere. And before you begin to do your searching, I've just got something that I need to mention to our fantastic viewers. So this adventure, the 24-hour stream into the unknown, has been inspired by my very first game of D&D, this module here, which was produced in 1978. Yeah, 1978, called In Search of the Unknown, hence Into the Unknown. But one of the things we used to do back then was map out our explorations and the like. So tonight, our intrepid adventurers here will be playing Theatre of the Mind and mapping out their explorations. And I invite you all, whilst we are doing this intro, to grab yourself a pen and paper and attempt to follow along at home, attempt to map out this dungeon of Thar. And if you want, you can always copy it into our Discord channel, and we can do a dedicated channel of compare and contrast. If this is popular, if people like this, we might do this for the 24-hour game as well. So that said and done, hopefully you're all scurrying away and gathering up your resources. You're here. The entrance must be around here somewhere. You must be close. Lots of overgrown brambles. This area is wild, very, very wild. What would you like to do? How do you want to go about trying to fine tune down to locate the entrance to this dungeon?
20 years in the army, and now I get to do weed whacking. Yay. So Shautha gets her glaive and basically starts using it as a overgrown machete and cutting away brambles and overhanging vines in order to get closer to where the cliff face and possibly the dungeon entrance must be.
Okay. I mean, this takes you no time at all. I mean, you're used to cleaving bone, flesh, a few brambles and thorns. Occasionally get tangled up, but your strength is very, very good as your muscles swell, the veins show, sweat begins to glisten upon your skin. But as you're doing this, could you all, you're all giving an eye out. Yeah, give us the first rolls of the game. We're gonna do this in sequence, just purely so that we don't just get a ton of dice onto the chat and we don't do it. So, Alder, give me a perception roll, please. Nice. So, if you just tell me what it is.
15.
15, nice. And then Shautha.
17.
Very nice. And then Alfred.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so we like to do what we call failing forward here. So what's much more interesting than the two successes that we've got is the failure, or rather, it's not a failure as in something bad has gone wrong, but what is it that distracts you? What's on your mind at the moment, Alfred?
I think Alfred might have slightly unwisely taken out a sheet of paper and started to do sort of a drawing of it, sort of represent the first stage of our epic adventure into woods, and gets a little too involved with shading in the details.
No, perfect. It's very nice. Add to your inventory. Sketch number 1, the entrance. I mean, you're a bard, you can title it yourself. Okay. The other two, though, looks very much like doing all of the work. You both sort of notice, wait, there's something a bit strange here, and you at first think it's maybe sort of a deer run through the brambles or something, but you begin to notice that someone or some things have made their way quite cautiously through these brambles without hacking it down. And there's a small path leading towards the cliffs. As you, with the perception you've got, it's probably a good half a day. Basically, it's been broken down, but it's beginning to spring back a touch. But as you sort of follow it, it does actually lead to an overhang in the cliff face, and you can see a number of things. You can see clearly now some booted footprints that have been leading to what appears to be this iron portcullis that has been obscured in the walls of this cliff. But rather than being lifted, the bars have been bent and jimmied. There's one or two missing, and the others have been very much bent open, allowing for a creature of even your stature, Shautha, to easily make egress. There is something else as well, though. There are a number of statuary around here. Two very distinctive, one of a wizard and one of a warrior. They are oversized, standing maybe a good 8 foot tall, but are in a terrible state of repair, covered again in sort of moss and ferns, weathered and chipped. There are also appears to be some of the smears upon them, shoulders and head, kind of white. Almost looks like bird droppings. You would easily recognise it, from a distance, Alder, as something akin to that. But it's curious because this is actually underneath the cliff overhang, so it's certainly not by normal flyby. But there are a number of other statues here as well, and they are more curious. There's two others. They are of normal size, and your suspicions, they are posed awkwardly, almost in horror, maybe even mid-combat, and they look far newer. So over to you as you become aware of this scene.
My, the detail on those was amazing. Must be a very skilled sculptor.
Right, or there might be a different reason for it. If we're talking about the little ones.
Possibly. But got to admire the detail.
Maybe there's some writing on the big ones.
Does that mean that you're going to go forward and take a look?
With my glaive, which is like reach, so 10 feet away.
So your glaive has eyes to sort of look.
No, I want to use it to cut away the vines and the vegetation around the plinth of the warrior.
Okay.
She's not interested in the wizard because, magic.
Okay, so you hack away, clear it away. Absolutely, and you're right. There is a sort of plaque. Looks like it was maybe bronze, but it's gone verdigris. It's kind of that green white sort of residue that's over it now. It's going to need a bit of a buff up to kind of really take a look at it, but there's definitely one there.
Yeah, I'll have a look at it.
Okay, so you move forward. How do you clean it off? What are you using?
A bit of water for my water skin and soap.
Okay, yes, soap.
I am a clean orc. I've been in the military for 20 years. I know how to use soap.
Absolutely. So you easily manage to sort of rub away at this, and yeah, you see that this is entitled Barra Thar, and Barra, you remember quite possibly from the Legends of Thar Keep, was a mighty warrior, one of two brothers. Supposedly the keep belonged to them. You're not entirely sure of the full history of it. You could certainly ask Alfred, he's book smart, or you could delve into your own mind and see what you can remember from tales that you have heard already.
Alfred, what's this legend again about Bara Thar and his brother? This dude is Bara.
Well, let's see what tales I've heard.
There's no need for a roll for this. You're a College of Law bard, aren't you? So tales like this are kind of Bard Law 101. Yeah, you remember it's kind of odd. Supposedly there were two brothers. They were the best of siblings. They were a united front. They inherited this keep, or rather, I think purchased it. If you think about the tales, incredibly successful in the old adventuring game, as it were, really. But the stories go a little bit deeper than that, supposedly they weren't content with just the keep, and they did in fact dig deeper and deeper. Beneath the keep itself supposedly lies these dungeons that you are now hopefully going to find. And the dungeons were supposed to be very extensive. They were incredibly wealthy, and as far as you know, it seems that that is what draws everybody to the keep proper, to keep searching for their fortune. But this is proof that there were now dungeons beneath the keep itself. And if so, and if that fortune hasn't actually been found, maybe it is here. The two brothers, one goes by the name Barra, the other one goes by the name
I will be
Sorry.
embellishing this. I'll embellish the story a little as I'm retelling it, jumping back and forward, acting out particularly epic tales between it, causing light to appear to almost be a stage light while this goes on.
Sorry, the wizard's name is Alder Thar. So Barra and Eldra. But the mystery, as it were, is they didn't die. They weren't defeated or raided, or their fortress was not. They just seem to have disappeared off the face of Greyhawk, leaving their keep into ruination. No one has actually solved the mystery of Aldra and Barathar. But this is proof now, this statue, that this must be.
Right, well, keeping a quick eye out, Alder's going to head towards the two smaller statues if they're close to each other, and also trying to get an idea of the size and shape of this, almost as if he were drawing a map for the first time in absolutely years.
So the entrance fundamentally is only about 10 feet into the side of this cliff, and in the middle of that 10-foot is a sort of 5-foot passageway that leads deeper in. That is the entrance that has this broken portcullis sort of sealing it off, or what was once sealed. You can see that there is some booted footprints that obviously made their way in, perhaps bent the bars and have gone in. With the fact that you are a ranger and a hunter, you determine that there's probably anywhere between 6 and 10 individuals that have made their way into there. But that is a problem for another moment, because as you move up to these statues, as it were, you rapidly begin to put two and two together. These incurious poses, these more than lifelike in design, newer. These are no statues. These are individuals that were petrified, and your very sharp knowledge of nature leads you to rapidly believe, with the bird droppings, that there must be a nest of cockatrice around here. And I think at that moment, kind of, if you imagine it as a movie, you're kind of putting all this two together, and your head sort of turns towards Shautha, who's there, sort of cleaning up and looking over her shoulder at Alfred, who is waxing lyrical about the history of all of this. And you basically see over the statue two small, almost chicken-like heads sort of come with small beaks, beady little eyes. What would you like to do?
I would like to point. Once I can get the eyes of our bard, who's no doubt sort of into third monologue, sort of, oh, over there. And we'll get bow out, knock arrow to bow, which I think certainly for military person will be a good sign of, he only sort of does this when there's an issue. He'd rather not because he's lazy. So there's clearly something up.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll point them in the direction of where these are. I don't know whether I can act yet but he will certainly be wanting to do a thing.
I think with what you suggested that you were doing, it means that they haven't got like a surprise drop on Shautha, as you kind of not necessarily give a massive shout out, not wanting to disturb these creatures. So let us roll initiatives. So again, we'll do it in order. So Alder.
Okay, +1, +1. That is a total of 15 again.
Nice. And then we do Shautha.
4.
Fantastic. And we will do Alfred.
A 21.
21. I mean, that is pretty good. Initiative for these. They have a +1 to their dexterity, so I shall make a dice roll myself. We're going to do open rolls for everybody, but they get +1 to this roll. Oh, an 18. An 18. Woohoo. Okay, so let us start this off. Okay, so with your 21, Alfred, you can see 2, and then there's another one coming around from the base. There are 3 of these, and you basically see them in their sort of a full glory, as it were, now, and they seem to be a hideous hybrid of lizard, bird, and bat, and sort of feathers kind of falling it off, and it's doing that almost like raptor-esque kind of walk, looking to sort of peck and bite. What would you like to do?
I will cry out. You look like the armpit of an unshaven bog hag. And cast vicious mockery on one of them, please.
Very nice. What kind of saving throw is that?
It is a wisdom saving.
Okay, so they've got +1 to the wisdom. Did you want cockatrice 1, 2, or 3?
Let's go with number 1.
Okay, very good. So I need to make a wisdom roll. Got +1 to this. What is your spell DC?
13.
I'm sorry, that is a 15. So you reach out with your mind, and it doesn't really understand. I know that's quite not how vicious mockery works, but it just kind of looks at you curiously. In fact, it probably takes that as a bit of an invitation, as it and it starts pegging towards you. Alfred. And it's going to make its attack as number 1 is going to try and strike at you. It has +3 to attack with its beak. So, bump. Again, open rolls. That is only an 8. I'm hoping that your armor class is greater than 8. I'm assuming that's yes. Alfred?
Yeah.
You sound uncertain.
I mean, I know you're a bard, but there's no need to build up the tension quite that much. You get that, heckler.
I mean, you've got must have a good dexterity to have initiative like that. So even if you were buck naked, you should have higher than 8.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So how does this represent? How does it miss you? What happens?
I think as per that, it completely ignores me. Affronted, I will attempt sort of a bull taunting, wave my cloak around and have it run through it.
Okay, so I mean, this is a tiny sort of chicken type creature, and you're just kind of doing the whole flamboyant, fantastic. I love it. So with that, we have the second cockatrice. For speed, and perhaps I should have mentioned this before, you might find it a little bit unfair, but you're going to have to get used to it. All creatures of the same type, I roll initiative once. It might favour you sometimes, doesn't favour you other times when I roll high. So the second one comes obviously at you, Sean, so you're the closest thing, as its head kind of appears almost, as I say, raptor-like over this statue, and it kind of does a really horrible leap up, sort of flaps its wings and then drops down on your head, flapping around your face, and attempts to peck at you. So this is another +3 to this attack. Oh, I thought that was a 19 yet. So a 13. So what do you do with this thing on your head?
She's got a mohawk, so she imagines that the chicken is on top of the mohawk and just can't reach because, Biggs, think proper punk style mohawk.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, are you just beginning to imagine that this thing might be quite a good headpiece for you once defeated?
Yeah, with the wings sticking out on the sides. Aerodynamic mohawk, yay.
I mean, that's punk. But we do have another one, and that one's coming down as well. It lands on top of the other cockatrice that is also on your head, and they begin to sort of start fighting amongst themselves for you. I'm going to do what I like to do sometimes, which is an intelligence check. So it's got -4 to this. If it doesn't get 10, it's going to attack its others, not violently, but it's going to start fighting over you. If it gets 10 or more, it's got -4 to its intelligence, then it's going to attack you. Ooh, by 1. So you have become this target for these two things that are fighting. Maybe they think your mohawk is one of them, and maybe they are sort of going, oh, that's the colours of a female cockatrice. Who knows what is going to go on? Sorry, I've just realised we're streaming again. For that kind of content, join our Discord. Hello, everybody. Please ignore that comment. We're live. In the meantime, let us get back to what you're doing. So player A, which is Alder, you do have your initiative now on 15.
Right. Well, having seen the two on top of our military friend fighting, Alder's going to take a bead on one of them and sort of mutter, whatever Alfred said, you dozy looking chicken, and will use a bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on one of them.
Ooh, sweet.
But without any skill in artistry, he doesn't, just glares at it.
All right. Do
and we'll-
you just like close one eye and stick your tongue out? Is that like your hunter's mark?
It's about the level of his artistry with this. He's not. So he will make an attack roll with his bow. That's that. Plus that and that. And I think that's everything. Roll.
Oh, very good. So that's absolutely a hit. Give me some of your damage, please.
So that is 1d8 plus 1d6 for the Hunter's Mark. Let me just check my actions. Yep, and that is a 2 to that.
All very nice. A solid 9 points of damage. This thing lets out. Sorry.
11, I think.
Sorry, 11.
Plus
Sorry, yeah, you'll have to tell me what the damage is because I don't see the modifiers. So total of 11 points of damage. Still not blooded as yet, but it did not like that.
He would then like to use his hunter's ability,
Mhm.
because for once he hasn't taken the one which does more damage against injured things.
Yeah.
He's taken Horde Breaker, which is
Nice.
why I did a little cheer inside when they both sat on
Yeah.
our soldier's head, and would like to make an attack against the one that is less than 5 feet away.
Perfect.
As he goes thunk, thunk.
That's a lovely little ability. So basically, when you make an attack against one ability, you can make another attack against a second one. Yeah, as long as it's within.
As long as it's within 5 feet, so it's
Beautiful.
taking out a Horde Breaker, I think it's called.
No, I love it.
So second attack, say modify, but if it does hit, obviously the Hunter's Mark's on the other one.
Yeah.
It's an 18.
That's fine. When I say yeah, that means that its armor class must be 12 or lower, which it is. So you hit for that.
And doing 1d8 plus 2 damage, which is a total of 6 for me.
Nice. Okay, so 2 wounded. Very nice turn. Moving rapidly forward, we move to you, Shautha. You have 2 of them on your head. They have arrows in them now.
At the moment, she is not perceiving them much as a threat and goes to the hunter. Good job. And since they're on their head, DM permitted, I would like to take a few steps to end up at cockatrice number 1, which is at Alwyn. I think Alwyn is the name.
Perfect.
And try and hit that one.
Okay, yeah. So again, they're kind of fighting each other at the moment. We'll carry on with that theme. So you're perfectly right. These things kind of all over you at the moment, but you attack the one that is not interested in making a nest out of your mohawk. Oh, very nice.
24.
24. Are you a champion fighter?
I am.
Was that a 19 that I saw on that lovely dice?
Was it? It was. Yeah, so I do a crit.
It's almost like I'm watching all of you. And it's a good job. God dear, what a nice GM I am. Yeah, I believe rules as written. When a champion fighter gets a 19, that also is a critical hit. So I haven't actually announced this yet. Oops, there we go.
18 points of damage.
18 points of damage. That is very, very nice on that one there. That one there is actually bloodied with the 18 points. You take it, just so the audience knows, we call bloodied when you reduce something to 50% or more of its hit points. So it's you've done a severe amount of damage to it, hacking it, and it starts squawking. It's bleeding badly at the moment and very, very unhappy. Do you get anything else when you crit, or is that it? It's just
Yeah, I had an extra damage die actually, so I rolled 3d10 instead of 2d10
Yeah.
on my weapon die.
Perfect. Just so you as players know, I know that we're running rules as written, just 2014 rule set, but I am thinking about increasing crit damage because I think crit damage fundamentally in Dungeons and Dragons doesn't do the purpose of it. It's all very well exciting getting a critical hit, and then you can roll 2 dice and get less than you would have done on a normal roll. So perhaps not for this stream, but for future ones, we'll be looking at upping it for you. But a crit is very nice. And then we come to round 2, as I'm assuming, Shautha, that is you've done. So Alfred, back
Yep.
to you.
Let's try this again. What should I say? So I'm this little thing around me, also avoiding a rather deadly weapon. I will shout at it. Tell me, did you run away from your parents, or did they run away from you?
Wow. So yeah, I need to roll a save, don't I?
Please, a wisdom save.
It is a wisdom. I believe I got +1 to these. That is a failure. I'm guessing a 6 is lower than your DC.
Yes, it is. And let's roll a.
So just a single point, yeah. This
Yes,
is the one that was attacking you.
it is. Yes.
So that puts it up to sort of 19 damage, but more importantly, it has disadvantage now, somewhat distracted by your words as the magic affects its mind. Okay, it is there goes. Now we've got something quite interesting here, something that I always like to do. These are not stupid. So the one that you clouted, Shautha, is going to make a wisdom check to see whether they've had enough, and they have indeed had enough with an 8. So what they basically do is take the disengage action, start flapping their wings, and disappear off into the bushes. The 2 that are on your head, though, are going to make a wisdom check. I only need one of these to fail it, because if one of them is distracted, they're distracting the other one. And I'm doing this intelligence check like before, and I'm doing it 10 or greater just for transparency. So that's a failure. So yeah, you've just still got these 2 on top of your heads that are squawking about, that are ignoring everything else that's going on at the moment. You very much think that they either want to use your Mohican as a new nest, or perhaps they think it's the plumage of a female cockatrice. So with all of their go, we will move down to you again, Alder.
Right. So as one flies off, you see Alder sort of, hang on, the other 2 have got my arrows in them.
Yeah.
And you can see him sort of almost doing a calculation of how much his arrows cost and how much a dead cockatrice. So he is happy they are still playing on the head, and will take another shot at the one that his hunters marked.
Yeah,
So the one which
perfect.
he didn't damage to. So that is a 14.
14 does hit.
That is a total of 12 damage.
Right. It's still up, but it's now taking more notice of all of these arrows in it and the fact that someone's shooting it more than deciding it wants to make a nest here. Can you do your Horde Breaker again? Is it every round?
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
once around.
Nice.
He can't fly. Not with 2 arrows in him. He can't fly. And we'll take a shot at the second one. Here we go. So
Ooh,
that is a total of 8.
an 8 is a miss as your arrow goes wide. That is all 3 of them now. That is your go, Alder, and we move back to Shautha.
Shautha can't see them at the moment because they're on top of her head. So I guess with a wild movement like a headbang, she will try and dislodge the 2 so they fall on the ground.
Yeah.
So she can actually use her weapon on them.
Perfect. They're
Because
both
she doesn't want to, chop off bits of her mohawk if it's anything like avoidable.
absolutely. I think for fun, because I spent 2 turns on your head, I need you to give me. This isn't part of your action. This is just you trying to dislodge them. Give me just the strength athletics. Again, a nice simple DC 10 will do it. Ooh,
11.
11, fine. Okay, so without any kind of real problem, they haven't really tangled themselves up in your Mohican as much, and you just. Is this a full-on sort of heavy metal head throw?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, head banging. You just kind of, it takes you once or twice, but they don't fall prone. They can sort of fly, but they sort of scramble, squawking, flapping their wings, but they're both kind of in front of you at the moment now, so you can take your action however you wish.
Yeah, whichever one has 2 arrows in it, I would like to hit.
Yeah. There is one with 2 arrows in it.
10?
A 10 is a miss, unfortunately.
These are damn small to hit.
As you,
As this huge glaive swings around, and if they're tiny or small creatures, it's.
I think with all of your head banging, you've probably got sort of like a little bit disorientated, and you just kind of swing at one of these, and it just bangs down into the ground. To heavy rhino said in chat, I'm not going to give full damage because A, they can fly and B, not quite 10 feet. But I love the joke there. And if anybody else is in chat, let us see your comments. But we skip back up again to you, Alfred.
I think at this point I will just take away my lyre, pull out a small tuning fork and feel say, I think this is more appropriate for this battle. And just try and viciously mock the injured double-arrowed one.
Nice. So yeah, this is another vicious mockery. So I'm so used to using the tabletop of our choice is Fantasy Grounds, where all of this is automated. So I'm so used to when someone says, "Oh, I'm going to cast this," them forcing a saving throw. That is a 15. So it seems that you are currently just distracted off your game. I mean, these tiny creatures, they stink badly, though. Imagine the worst stench of a bat, a chicken, and a lizard combined, and more some. So yeah, it again doesn't seem to understand what you're doing. But the 2 of these are going to try and scamper away. So they're going to take their action to disengage, and rather than the other one that just flew out into the brambles and the bushes and you can't really got line of sight, both of these two appear from behind the statue, sort of head back in that direction. They can easily get behind the statue, but if you wanted to follow up, you could easily do so at this moment. So that is going to be both their turns. So with that, we move again to Alder.
You're not stealing my arrows, and we'll stump around. How far are they roughly away with
Within
his
30
sort of
feet
25?
easily. Yeah, it's not far at all.
Okay.
You can easily either move round the statue at distance to keep distance between you and them, or you can just go to the statue behind it should you wish to.
I think he'll want to keep some distance now.
Yeah,
What these things are, even though he's risking more of his precious arrows, which I should have bought far more of. There's a point to anyone who takes Swordbreaker, it eats through ammo.
This is why it's a test stream.
Yeah. So we'll take an attack against the one.
Yeah, so before you do that, I'll just tell you what you see, because you go round and you get line of sight on them, and you do see that behind the statue there's a small ledge shelf that's within this overhang, and in there you see that there is this nest, and there are the two of them there, and you also see there's at least one or two small eggs in there as well. It's not necessarily going to stop you doing what you're doing, but you can easily see them.
Yeah, no, you got my arrows. So we'll take a shot at the one.
Perfect.
When I stop clicking on the wrong button. And
Yeah,
that is 22.
that's a nice hit.
That is 8 damage
Yeah,
to
that's
the one with the
enough.
hunters.
That one goes down without a doubt, leaving one left, which you can horde break.
So bonus action, get over there, and we'll hop the hunter's mark as a bonus action onto the next one as the
Very
green
nice.
miasma goes around it a bit, and we'll take the horde breaker shot against that when I stop accidentally clicking on fantasy ground, which also looks like a D20.
Yeah,
but I should really know. A D20.
yeah, that's going to be a hit as well. I'm not trying to stop you telling me the modifiers, but their armor class is 11.
So that is a total of 5 damage on that one.
Very nice. Still not blooded, but a couple of arrows in it now. Seeing it, it's going to make another roll. It's going to make him roll now. Sometimes, and you know this as a ranger, when beasts are cornered, that is when they are truly at their most dangerous. Yes, so this is an inverse morale check. It basically loses all sense of self-preservation, and it just flies out towards you, straight into your face. And it just starts, it's going for your eyes, basically. And it's going to make an attack against you. So it does have a +3.
Right.
Ooh.
When is it its turn then?
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay.
Sorry. Am I?
I wasn't trying to. It was just like, I'm with you with the energy here, but I think there's a fella.
No. I mean, it's got legendary actions.
Oh well, in that case, there we go.
No, you're right. I got a little bit excited. You basically.
I can
There.
see its eyes.
You can see it in its eyes. You can see that hatred, that fear, and you know it's coming for you. It's coming for you.
Sort of count the space that I've left and go, it's not going to be enough.
But you are right. There's two of your companions, and this is again a great tester for our 24-hour stream, because if I'm making rookie errors like this now, sort of halfway through, we're going to have to help each other out. I never mind being corrected, so we go to Shautha. It is indeed your go.
Yeah, as soon as she saw Alder firing arrows, she goes around the other side of the statue so as not to block his arrows. And
You've also probably just heard this death squawk from it and know that even your 20 years in the military, you don't want to get between it and its prey.
that as well, yeah. So 22.
That is a great hit.
Yeah, it's not a crit this time. 17. So.
No, but you're still going to do some good damage, I'm sure.
Nine damage.
9 damage. Okay, it's still up. Poof, still up. So with that, you've moved around, you've hit it. Just, yeah, it's fight now. It's not flight or fight. It's literally just fight. But of course, are you 10 feet away still?
Oh yeah, full use of the glaive.
But if it leaves your threat range, you could still have an attack of opportunity. So it might have to choose its target differently. Okay, so we move to you, Alfred.
Seeing words are wasted on such bird brains, I think I'll draw a rapier and go in to stab it.
Okay, so you go right into it. Let's hope you can finish it off, because this thing is rabid.
One way to find out.
Yeah, that's going to be a hit. We've established its armor class is 11 now.
Oh, 10 damage.
10 damage is enough. Well, you tell me, how do you put an end to this very, very dangerous cornered creature?
With charging in. One, this is going to look heroic when I tell my tale. 2, how dare it not understand what I've been saying to it?
Perfect. And with that, we're obviously out of initiatives. Catch your breaths. I believe that you're all unscathed, though, after that fight. Nicely done, adventurers. But
Shautha would like to do something.
yeah, I was going to say, over to you now, so you go first.
Yeah, she imagines that Alfred's rapier sort of like skewered the bird-like thing. So she gently grabs the rapier from Alfred and hands it over to Alder and says, "Look, we got bird on a spit for dinner tonight."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, everything's edible once. I'm not entirely sure how edible these are, but I'll certainly give it some thought. But yes, it's grand how he's put it on a spit there.
And it's up to you, but tell me how you wish to proceed, either carrying on searching this area or moving on.
So we have skewered poultry, eggs, omelette.
They're cockatrices. They're called cockatrices. It's not a chicken. I suppose I don't know whether it's poultry or not. Poultry suggests food, and like I said, it might be a wee bit spicy. But so you can look at them better. Let me just take a moment and pull my arrows out of these things, and he will spend some time trying to recover some arrows before going in mournful.
So
Where are you? Where's that fifth one gone?
Yeah,
Headed this way.
the rules as kind of written for retrieving arrows is you get 50% of them back. So You can certainly do that. So you go about retrieving your arrows. Nicely done. Anybody else wanting to do anything else?
Cautious route around in my nest, around the eggs.
Okay. Again, no need for an investigation roll. It's blatantly obvious. There's 2 cockatrice eggs. They are still kind of warm. Obviously, they were being sort of nested. So there's those. If you want to take them, they're kind of like just slightly larger chicken eggs. To be perfectly honest, they're about as delicate. So if you do take them, you're going to have to be careful with them, otherwise they might well break. But you do see there's a few sort of trinkets and the like amongst all of the refuse that have been brought up, as few shinies. There's a scattering of silver and copper coins. You get 3 silver and 8 copper. And you also see that there is what appears to be this key. It's kind of old and rusted, almost antiquated. It's been there a very long time, or rather been around a very long time.
Enough to buy a drink, but
Fortune
here,
and glory.
yes, it's picking refuse off my fingers.
So, tell me, Alfred, what are you taking from this nest?
So I'll take the key, pose, and offer up the copper and silver to my companions, not particularly being fussed about it. I mean, so are we putting this into a bit of a pot to all get drinks later, or?
I think we divvy up later. I don't know whether there'll be a shop in the dungeon. So probably best we just put it all together, and we'll trust each other to divvy up fairly later.
I mean, these were very wealthy men with their dungeon. There might well be a brewery down there, or some nice aged wine. Well, maybe sherry at this point.
Yeah, Shautha cleans the rapier and hands it back to Alfred.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Shall we try and chase down the others, or just go back and enter into this
There's one
dungeon?
more?
Yes.
Oh, one flew off. Unfortunately, I'm only psychically connected to this one. Points down at the one, and I know where that is. So I'm fairly confident I can track the dead one that's there.
Entrance it is.
Okay.
And
I think
Shautha goes first to the portcullis.
Alder will pick up the other 2 cockatrices and sort of attach them almost like game to his backpack
Nice.
to decide whether he can work out whether they're edible.
Yeah, okay. You easy enough can do that. They are tiny to, I mean, they're counted as small monstrosities, but I always see them as sort of chicken size, so it's not a problem. Okay, so Shautha, you sort of squeeze through this. It's a tight squeeze, but you can get through, and you can see that this is where mapping comes in now. There is a tunnel ahead of you. It is flagstone though, so it rapidly seems that this is like part of the dungeon complex itself. And those of you who do have dark vision, which I'm assuming is all of you, yep, it's dark in here fundamentally, so suddenly your eyes have to adjust from the daylight outside down to the the light that is coming through this portcullis, but there's not a lot of light because there's the overhang that is cut into here. So very rapidly it just goes into blackness, which your eyes begin to adjust you and see as dim light, unfortunately in grayscale. So not making out any kind of real fine details. But what you do notice is that every 5 feet along this corridor on both sides of it, there are about 5-foot alcoves. So 40 feet seems to open up towards the end. We'll come to that. But 4 alcoves as well, every 5 feet along it, that are 5 feet deep. The first one being very close to the entrance, or the first 2, for they are facing each other. And it's very obvious that you can see that there are more statues in these alcoves. The alcoves to the west seem to have statues of the same wizard character, but in different types of poses. The statues to the east again have statues of the warrior, but again in different kinds of poses. All of these statues are again covered now in various stains, weathered because of time and age. The kind of stains on them though are probably droppings of vermin, but also water stains where water has dripped through and sort of calcified upon them. They all have name plaques as before, and there are Alder, Thar, and Barra Thar on all of them going down. You're currently at the just beyond the portcullis at the moment, as this corridor of darkness stretches ahead of you. What would you like to do?
So you said the corridor goes forward 40 feet with alcoves on either side regularly.
Goes north from where you are.
Does it look like it opens up after that?
It does. After 40 feet, your dark vision can see it kind of opens up into what appears to be a circular chamber, probably no more than 20 feet in diameter, so just towards the far end of it, towards the end of your dark vision. You can see in the middle of that circular chamber seems to be, looking at it from here, some kind of well, some kind of circular sort of raised sort of barrier, but it's very reminiscent of what a well would look like.
Do you want a bit more light, or do we not want to give ourselves away?
I'm all up for light.
Do you prefer magical or mundane?
I'm happy with mundane for now. Means I can shove it in one of these statues if we need to, and he'll get some flint and tinder out and light a torch. So that's 20-foot bright light and 20-foot dim light after that.
Yeah. So
but we'll move forward cautiously.
Yeah.
So if told to step back so that the light doesn't go where we don't want it to, he's happy to.
Perfect. So that with your dark vision, dim light becomes normal light, so it gives you 40 foot of good vision. And as soon as you flare up your torch and kind of shine it, you see something about 20 feet ahead of you. You probably thought it was just some rubble or some detritus on the floor, but as your light catches it, it sort of, there's a glint and you realize it's a body, dead, humanoid. The blood has leaked over the floor. It's coagulated, but it looks relatively fresh. This body though has almost been cut in two.
Cut in two, like from top to bottom, or half?
You think? I mean, you don't need to think, but it's almost like severed in two, halved. Like, I mean, like you with your glaive and swinging it so hard that you get your critical hit, and I mean, you could easily cut a peasant in half with the amount of hit points they've got.
And does it look like that kind of smooth? This took one blow to do this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with the bright light, even 20 feet away, this must have been someone very, very powerful or strong. Just a single
Shautha
blow.
will move forward really, really carefully and looking at the floor. It's flagstones, you said, right?
Yeah. You're in the dungeon
She
proper
will
now.
carefully, with the back of her glaive, touch every flagstone in turn as she moves forward.
Okay. So you move up to the body. Again, you can give me medicine rolls, but you don't really need any perception or investigation rolls. I think I'm only asking for medicine if you are particularly skilled in it. I think it's going to be fairly obvious anyway. You kind of get within 5 feet of the body and you look at it. It's been cleaved in two. But the arterial spray around this corridor, absolutely, you think this was some kind of scythe trap that has come and just killed him instantly. Very, very dangerous. There's no signs of sort of footprints. There are blooded footprints leading away from the body further north. But you don't think they were responsible for this individual's death. The individual has been stripped of gear and equipment, kind of a human stubble. It's got one big cauliflower ear, missing a few teeth. Maybe another adventurer or someone else. You don't recognize him.
Looks like his mates left him before going on, judging by the footprints.
Yeah. Alfred, you offered to do the light thing. Does that still allow you to be hands? You don't have to be.
I can put it on any particular object if you would feel more comfortable holding something more defensible or offensible.
I don't mind. I just was. I just don't. I'm not as comfortable as leaping out of the way while holding it. If you're able to do it without me holding this, I'm fine with that.
Okay, then I will cast light upon, say, my rapier sheath.
Yeah, okay. It just begins to shed light, and I think it's no more powerful than a torch, is it? It's 20 foot by 20 foot.
It is, yes.
Yeah, so it just replaces the torch light.
Shautha would like to see if there's some sort of disabling mechanism that's obvious for the side trap, so we don't get, on the way back, forget it's there.
Okay, well, it's kind of strange because you've got up to the body and you were searching. You've not discovered a triggering mechanism at the moment. You can give me a investigation roll though, where you're standing over the body. I mean, you can all do this if you want, but do it one at a time.
13.
Okay. Anybody else doing it, or are we just letting Shautha do it?
Alfred will be making a quick sketch of the statues.
Okay, very nice.
Alder will be paranoid that there's like lines with blades coming out, so he will have.
So you. What's that?
That's a 10 total.
10 total. So yeah, I mean, for you, Alder, again failing forward. I mean, you see death everywhere at the moment. It's just like if there's one trap, there could be many. Maybe this is a setup. Maybe this is designed for us to be looking here, and the trap's elsewhere. Or your own narrative on that, of course.
No, I think with Dwarven Stone Cunning, he's incredibly overthinking. Of course, the first trap would be like that. The next one would bisect from, is that a gap between rock? Is that? So, yeah, he's no use whatsoever.
Brilliant. So Shautha, though, with the 13, that is a success, and you don't find a triggering mechanism, but you do find a kind of almost imperceptible razor thin sort of crack that is part of where the two flagstones meet. And yeah, that's where the blade comes out, and it looks like it's retracted again, so it looks like it could come out, but even though you've seen that, you can't see the triggering mechanism or an off switch of sorts.
I think we need to crawl below this level to be safe. And she indicates on the wall, not on the crack itself, but before the crack. Like, this is the height we need to stay below. She actually does it a little bit lower than the thing actually is. You know, she doesn't want to have any bumps sticking up.
Okay, very good. And it does occur to you that whoever the companions of this poor unfortunate are, they've probably left this corpse here as a reminder.
Yeah.
It's a mark. I mean, there's much better ways of marking this is where a trap is, but they seem to have taken this more brutal side of it. Okay.
Yeah, so Shautha will go and crawl first to, show how it's done, proper tiger motion, like
So
she was taught in the military.
just to establish this then, are you going one at a time, crawling, or are you all dropping and crawling forward? Alder, what are you doing? Shautha is.
I think having seen Shautha, he will take his bow off his back because he's worried that that'll stick out a bit and sort of clutch it to his chest. He's got his shield strapped to his back, and he's got to sort of push his feet, so scraping along the bottom with his shield. He's sort of trying to hug the thing that is the most expensive thing he's got to his chest to make sure that if it's coming, he'll see it and try and. So it will make a horrendous noise as a shield is sort of scraped along the floor.
And the shield boss will go metal on stone.
Yeah.
I mean, just as a little bit of narrative here, especially as we come to the bard, if you are going to do this, you're going to have to crawl through this coagulating blood and like for a couple of centuries worth of grime and dust as well. But it could save your life. What are you doing, Alfred?
We'll fix it in the post lore afterwards, just crawl it through.
Okay, so you hunkered down as well, and it's a good job that both of you did, because as Shautha, and I kind of see you almost like military-esque commando crawling, no problem at all. You kind of move relatively fast, even though you are technically prone across this, and it's not until you get maybe 15 foot beyond the trap that you find the triggering mechanism, and you hit the pressure plate, and it just comes out, and you begin to realize that it wasn't the first person in the line that set this off. It was the person at the front, and it caught either someone that was in the middle of the group or at the end of the group. But you rapidly, as you do this, turn and you see that both your companions safely hunkered down, as well as this thing moves across the top.
If possible, Shautha would like to wedge it in its,
Well, I mean,
use.
anything is possible, but you're going to have to tell me how you're going to do it, and quite possibly in Dungeons and Dragons, what resources are you going to use? Everything has a
Would you
price.
like would you like a Peyton? Would you like
If
to
you
stick
have one,
something?
yeah.
You can have all 10 if it's going to stop that thing coming out again. And these sort of hands will come up to where your hands are further down, and a hammer and a Peyton will be sort of pushed into your hands.
Yeah, I'd like to piton, put one piton in the wedge and
Okay.
hammer it down a bit.
No need to roll for this. It's a simple action. It's costing you a piton. Does make some noise though. It doesn't matter what your sleight of hand is. You want to slam this piton in to stop this thing happening, and you have little choice. But I'm not saying you deliberately go out of your way to make a large amount of noise, but it is intrinsically noisy. So, congratulations, you have disabled this trap and survived this corridor. You make your way forward, and you can see now ahead of you this room. And indeed, your best guess was right. This rimmed circle in the center of this maybe 20-foot room is indeed looking like a well. You can see there's a couple of buckets, old, rotten, by the side of it, with some ropes. You can also see though that there is a passageway to the west, the east, and the north, leading up into the darkness, as it were, as well as the southern passage that you have travelled up through. Doesn't take much for you to see that the northern passage goes about 10 feet, and then there is almost a T-junction with it going west and east. But just beyond that, there's once again a small alcove. So where it would have ended as a T-junction, there is another sort of 5-foot alcove there. Curiously, nothing in that alcove though. If you look to the west, you basically see it does end in a T-junction with a corridor going north and south.
How far down is that, Andy?
That is 20 feet.
Yes.
Sorry if I'm speaking a little too fast. I'm more than happy to repeat my dungeon directions to you. So
What can we see on the east side?
yeah, on the east side you can see a corridor that goes 20 feet across to the east and then turns south. But at the end of this eastern corridor you can see a door that has seen much better times. It's wooden, banded with metal, but the wood is rotten and the metal hinges and brackets and reinforcements have very rusted.
Is there still any sign of footsteps from the people that went in before us?
It seems very much like they've attempted to obscure, realizing that they were leaving tracks here. They might have someone that's skilled in tracking. So I am going to need a survival track roll off. You can work together. You can gain advantage through the aid action if you want, or you can.
Yeah, Shautha has survival herself as well, but she will be assisting Alder. if that's possible, giving him advantage, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us an advantage roll. For, of course, survival for tracking. Very nice.
So that's a total of 20.
20. Fantastic. Substantially more than you need, especially at this level. Whilst they've attempted to stop the bloody footsteps going, all they've really done is cleaned all of the muck and the dust off the floor. They've tried to cover it back up again, but to your skilled eyes, it seems very much like they have initially headed up the northern corridor. I'll give you this because you got the 20, but rapidly didn't really. But it's almost like they got to the T junction of the northern corridor and then turned round, came back, and then headed west. And I'm going to give you this because you rolled a 20 as well. The journey back, you think, had less people. You rolled a 20, so get some fantastic extra information.
Oh, you're right, Shautha. There's less here. It was good spotting. Right. If we're sort of following these up and seeing them down, I guess we're going to have to have gone to the north a bit.
I mean, I think with your 20, you could have just got to the start of the northern corridor
Gotcha.
and had a look. But I'm more than happy for you to continue north if you want to.
I think it was just if we're sort of seeing them back, there's no sign of any the bloodied footsteps or whatever don't get more bloody. There's no sign of there being a body there or anything that we could see.
Not that you can see when you're at the entrance to the northern
Yeah.
corridor, at least.
Cool.
Mm.
Right.
Shautha would also like to inspect the well.
Okay.
Does it have water in it that's visible at like 40 or 60 feet down, or?
So you sort of look down, it descends further than your dark vision or your light. You can't hear any running water, but that doesn't mean that there's not standing water. You tell me what you are doing to uncover this information.
I would like to pick up a random piece of rubble like stone and drop it.
Okay, so you drop it and you do the old counting, and you reckon this descends down maybe about 90 feet. You can't be 100% certain. And there's a soft thud rather than a bloosh. You think it might be dry down there now.
But there's no other sounds coming up, no scuffling, no
Give me a
coughing.
perception roll.
Yeah.
So is that a natural 1 or a 7?
It's a natural 1 plus 3, so 4.
So again, failing forward, you obviously don't hear anything. But I mean, why is that? Is your attention elsewhere?
I'd like to imagine that the cockatrices screeching on top of her head would have, like, overloaded her hearing senses for some while now.
Perfect.
Well, would you perhaps like me to cast light upon some rubble to throw down there? I can illuminate it a little. It might not help much, but...
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Okay. Grab another miscellaneous item? Cast
Yeah.
light on it?
I mean, there are small bits of rubble. Some of the stone cladding, the tiles, I suppose, or flagstones have sort of chipped and crumbled. So you can grab one of those quite easily. You put in light on that.
Yes.
Okay. So just so you're aware, you can only have one light spell in existence at any given time. So as you cast light upon your chip of stone, your scabbard fades back, but you've still got the light in your hand at the moment.
Well, I suppose before I plunge it down into the abyss, I will at least make one aware it's going to get dark for a moment, and then drop it to see what happens.
Okay, so you drop it and it does that tumble down, and you see it drop 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 feet, and it begins to just hover in mid-air. And then you realise as you're looking down, it's not hovering in mid-air, it's got caught in a tangle of spider webs. And then you basically see multifaceted eyes looking up, curious, alien.
Andy.
Yep.
Very quick thing. When the light disappears down the well,
Yeah.
Alder glances at the three corridors. Any sense of any light coming from there now?
That is kind of interesting. There's no direct light, but again, you can give me a perception roll. It's a good call. I like it.
That is a 14.
Fantastic. You only needed a 13. So in the gloom, I quite like that word, gloom, you see down the western corridor, but with the branch that heads south, there's almost just such a very, very faint sort of glow. I mean, it's almost imperceivable, but your sharp senses picked it up. I mean, if it was perceivable, you would have just noticed it, sort of thing, really. But yeah, your sharp senses does notice light coming from that direction. In fact, I think you actually notice something coming from the west and the north corridor as well. But from the south, it's more akin to maybe torchlight, sort of flickering, whereas to the north, it's got a strange, almost purplish tint to it, and it's sort of flickering.
So I think as his eyes, they're sort of looking down and seeing what they see. He won't see that because he's been looking at the others.
Yeah.
He will quietly say to them, well, that west corridor has got a lot going, a lot of light to them. So
Before we get there, Elder, though, how good is your spider's talk? Can you talk to these spiders
My
down
what?
here? And
My what?
your spider talk. You can talk to animals, right?
My spider talk.
Yeah. Can you convince these guys down here not to climb up after us?
I mean, I can try communicating in the language of arrows. I don't have any natural ability to talk to. Sorry, it's not for fucking spiders. It's never come up. I cannot. Let's be clear. I cannot talk to any animals. I've got a fair good idea of getting to know if they're going to attack or not, from instinct and a wee bit of training. But I don't have any magical doodads that allow me to talk to animals.
It's
Sorry if I've ever given the impression that I have. My bad.
It would take a little time, but I am capable of it.
There
Oh,
you go.
good.
There you go.
Shautha makes room for you at the edge of the well.
Yeah, no. I'll be going further away from the well if you'd like me to cast this for, I don't know, 10 minutes.
I think since we've been adventuring together for a bit, he has the ability to cure a bit, to make people move a wee bit quicker, and to do what he's already done. That's his wheelhouse. He can. That's it.
Perfect. So, are you going to take 10 minutes to
I
do this?
will be asking if they would like me to either spend 10 minutes to either speak to animals or whether I should be trying to detect the arcane, or whether we'd prefer not to spend 10 minutes.
I think 10 minutes is a long time, so Shautha will just, stick her head back out over the well and in this whispering voice will nicely ask the spider, like, we don't mean you any harm. Just stay down there. You're safer down there.
You hear a. You're not sure whether it's answering you or not. But as you stick your head down and you can see this light down there now, and as the light sort of expands to here, you do notice it picks up a number of cocooned individuals. They're not wiggling or anything, they seem to be very still. But amongst these cocoons, partially bound in spider silk, something shiny glints with that light.
Right. Andy, did you say there were buckets
There are
around?
buckets, yeah, there's 2 buckets here. They're rotting, but they're still capable of a degree of use. There's some rope onto it as well. The rope looks like it's designed to go down this well, so it's at least about 90 foot in length. It's kind of heavy and hemp, but usable.
So make note of the rope if it looks like it might be in salvageable nick. What he's doing is picking up other bits of, putting them in buckets in case our peace treaty with the arachnid race does not go well. So he's got a couple of buckets full of rocks to drop down. That's how we'll be spending the 10 minutes.
Okay. I don't know whether you're using the 10 minutes at the moment. Are you doing this 10 minutes or not?
Would you like me to? And if so, which effect should I be casting for? It appears, well, I think if we have a war with the arachnids, it's going to be over before 10 minutes happens.
At the moment,
Oh no, this is just in case things don't go well with the sit down, whatever. I'm not going to start anything. If you want to have a chat, you go.
Oh, unless there's, are we going down there?
If they're not moving, I suggest we just go on and leave the spiders be.
And I guess if we're taking 10 minutes, I'll actually cast Detect Magic.
Okay. So it looks like there's a bit of a mixture here, as Shautha sort of said, we'll leave. But Alfred, you seem to be keen to cast Detect Magic, and this is good because I get to do this.
Oh dear.
We're starting a 10-segment clock, and there is a countdown to things happening, taking a long time investigating or casting ritual spells burns another resource, and that resource is time. So 10 minutes has passed of this 1 hour clock. So it's a 6-segment clock, not a 12-segment clock. I can't do the math. But nothing seems to disturb you at this. Now, moving across to you, Alder, we'll come on to Alfred and what it looks like he's doing in a moment. But if you want to collect bits of rock, this place hasn't crumbled down. You could go outside, obviously, or you would have to sort of chip away at the flagstones and make some.
He's happy to put whatever he can find. He'll just use the buckets empty if necessary, or
Yeah.
just jam one bucket into the other.
Okay.
If it's been clear and we've sort of been told that the arcane investigation, he will sort of make clear, because he kind of just said there's light down those passages before. He will make clear to everybody that there's weird purple light to the north of the west passage, where it looks more like normal, if he's going to have time to look in different areas with his arcane stuff.
Perfect. Okay, so we will come across to you, Alfred. You take 10 minutes to ritually cast Detect Magic. How does this look? How does your magic work?
Rather than music, I think that it starts to etch arcane symbols into the air as they begin to sort of glow and shimmer as the power begins together.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so, and you suddenly, your vision shifts, changes imperceptibly, but now you can perceive magical auras. And you look down at yourself and Shautha and Alder, and it rings home how poor you all are. Not a single magical item upon any of you. But that is to change, hopefully. I just want to say a quick good night to Heavy Rhino. Thanks very much for being a mod into the chat. Get a good rest. We will chat later. Thanks very much for watching. So, but you now know for the next 10 minutes, if you come across any arcane sort of auras, you will be able to perceive them in some way, perhaps even having at least a scant understanding of the school of magic they belong to as well. But you need to be within 30 feet of such a thing. So that segment crossed off. The clock is ticking. What would you like to do?
Shall we head to the corridor with the northwestern corridor? Or western north to see what the
What's the
light is?
purple?
So you head 20 feet west, and you basically see there is indeed a corridor that goes north-south. To the north, there is a very peculiar sight. About 10 feet up, you basically see a door, but the door itself has been maybe forced open, not through brute force, but through a strange crystalline expansion. It has almost burst out of this door, and you can see that there are jagged shards of crystal that seem to have grown from within this room. You can see that there are crawl spaces in amongst the crystals that fill this room now, but it looks hazardous. The crystals look sharp, and it's somewhere deep within there you see that there is this resonance, this glow of purple, and you can also almost hear the which kind of sounds like an angry housefly, but it's actually my attempt to sound like electricity.
Alder, have you come across something like this before?
I mean, I wait to be contradicted by Andy, but I don't think so.
No, this is very strange. And Alfred's eyes as he kind of turns. So I don't think you've recast light yet.
Yeah.
You sort of look up and the whole of this crystal garden seems to radiate magic, as if this is a sort of magical growth. It's very difficult for you to determine the school of magic, quite possibly some kind of alteration, transmutation type magic upon it. I don't know if any of you have done any sort of growing of crystal gardens in jars, but it's very much like that. It kind of looks strangely organic and natural, the way that it is rapidly grown and filled this chamber. But before you get carried away with that, to the south, the tunnel goes down about 30 feet, ends in a door, again, that is rotted and is got these rusted brackets and bands upon them. But because the door is heavily rotted, you can easily see now torchlight flickering from the inside of it. This is the scant light that you picked up earlier. And as your concentrations, you can hear conversation beyond the door. It is also where these obscured tracks have led as well. The tracks still attempted to be disguised, but with your not natural 20, but your 20 before, you can carry on with that roll to follow those tracks. Definitely leads. Whoever made them is beyond that door. You can hear muted conversations. You can see flickering torchlight. So,
Shall we deal with the people beyond the door first, or? Because this crystal's weird. It's no touchy. Okay, Shautha moves from the front of the north corridor to the front towards the south corridor.
So you're heading down the south corridor now towards the door with the flickering light behind. As you get closer, you can sort of begin to pick up sort of scant bits of conversation. There is no attempt to sort of hide the discussion. Yeah, it was your fault. You trod on the mechanism. You killed him. Well, I didn't do it deliberately, did I? Perhaps if you were up front watching and looking, you might have spotted it when I didn't. But what about... I know, it was strange, another voice said. He just vanished. Just disintegrated. Just... I don't know. There was no dust. I'm terrified of this place. And then, did you hear that knocking? Something is coming. Bang, bang, bang. We're doomed. All of us were doomed. I didn't want to come here anyway. That is various different voices coming from behind the doorway.
So there's like 4 of them? Or 3?
At least 4, you think?
So Shautha moves a bit back and starts whispering to 2 companions.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to talk with them, or do we want to just, go in ready to fight?
I don't have any particular desire to start a fight without reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'd quite like to know where the disintegration happened so I could maybe avoid that. So maybe it might be worth. But they seem off with themselves at the moment. If you want to go up to the north, I'm sure they won't be. I don't mind. I thought we should deal with those first, but they're quite
I think
shaky.
they're noisy enough that we will notice them coming if they get anywhere close to us. So you want to move further north in this corridor, or do you want to try the well room and then the north corridor? That's where you said where there were less people coming out of it than they were coming in.
Yeah, if there were a disappearing and not dust left, I'd think that would be to the north. Which naturally makes me not particularly want to go there. But, you know, I don't mind. Alfred, do you want to get your what's going on with the purple? I don't know.
With the crystals, yeah.
Why not? We'll take a look. I only have a limited time with this slightly trippy vision.
Yeah, so I mean the whole of this crystal garden is just sort of pulsating with this light. You can't really, some of the crystals are translucent, so you can kind of see through them, but it's almost like prism type effects. So it's really, really playing with your vision at the moment. Not only have you got detect magic up, which is feeding your mind all sorts of extra information. It's almost like you've got a kaleidoscope on now that is picking up all of this. You're also actually seeing through the crystals as well. Can you give me a perception roll, please?
Yeah. That's it 2 for some reason. Should I re-roll that? Or I
Yeah,
don't know which one went first.
feel free to re-roll it again.
Okay. 1d20.
Nice.
13.
13. Okay, cool. 13 is basically what you need for this. It's almost like I'm playing a different game, actually. You only needed a 10 in this game. 13 is for a different game, which is, I think, only a 12. So I'm lying to you. Other than the fact that it is a success. So with the higher than a 10 DC, you can see that there are crawlways into and around this garden. You can kind of see that your detect magic through these translucent crystals is picking up what appears to be a rack of magical potions. There must be at least 3 of them there, but it is also picking up a couple of sparks, these tiny arcane motes that are glowing kind of. I mean, would I worry you if I said angry purple? Would that be off-putting?
Dear.
I won't use
Probably
that
more
phrase.
expensive.
Yeah,
Probably more expensive. Angry's
yeah.
expensive, so
I
it's
mean,
all good.
I was only asking. I won't use that phrase if it's going to
It's vibrant.
vibrate. Yeah, so a vibrant purple. I mean,
It's just you're just prepping for the 24-hour one.
yeah.
They don't like angry purple. Must make a note of
Oh,
that.
absolutely. This is what I'm doing. It's subliminal at the moment. I'm playing with your minds already. You wait till 3 o'clock in the morning.
So is it safe to touch or to hit or break down? What do you want to do with the crystals? Should I just go ham on it?
There are certainly some I would not recommend that on, but cautiously poke one of the very dull crystals.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, it's grown out of the doorway. So how are you touching it? Is it with your finger or are you licking it?
Sorry. As a bard, I'm just pleased those are the that you've got.
You know, again, just
Seduce the
practicing.
crystal.
No, it was a sensible question. Crystals, they could taste salty. We perhaps shouldn't go down that path, actually. Rock salt is what I'm thinking about. You've all got terrible minds.
I will just grab it with that.
Oh, you're grabbing it with your hand. Okay, well, no foreplay with this crystal as you reach out and grab it, and it is sharp. But I mean, you're not just stupidly grabbing it. So you touch it, and it's cold, and it's crystal, and it is pretty much what it is. You don't get a shock from it or anything else. So it does look, whilst unnatural for a crystal growth of this type, not particularly hazardous. If you were to try and go through the crawl spaces, you would have to absolutely be careful because it's sharp enough to cut you. But as you do touch it, again, these purple motes again sort of spark, this time with a degree of, well, sort of purple static that seems to crackle around it. Maybe a warning.
So, smash it or not? Shautha, by the way, exchanges her glaive for the mole on her back.
I mean, it's the perfect tool for the job, this is.
I'll step back, by all means, if you wish.
Okay, so the bit that's sticking outside the door, Shadow would like to take a swing at it with her mole.
Absolutely. Yep.
Alder will be looking the other way just to make sure, because I imagine this is going to be a bit loud and half
Yeah.
hearing from change in the level of noise, not necessarily being able to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So you begin to go to town as you bring your maul up and bring it down. I don't need any rolls. This is an inanimate object. It is also crystal, so it breaks fairly easily, like large, dangerous, sharp fragments. These shards smash as you as this is happening. You can't overly see Shautha, because whilst translucent, these small motes are really only visible to the special sight that Alfred has got. They seem to be most perturbed by that, and if it wasn't angry shades of purple, they are absolutely now, as you begin to see they hover, blink, and rush through these small crawl spaces, getting ready to attack. I think we would need to roll initiatives.
Who do you want to go first?
Can we stick with the other thing going? Left to right on Twitch, or Michael, Natascha, then me?
So,
Okay.
what we will do is we will run this encounter. So, yeah, Michael, if you wish to give us an initiative roll.
That is a total of 17.
Nice. And then player B, Shautha.
12.
12. And Alfred.
7.
7. Okay, I will warn you that these creatures are very fast. So we will roll for initiative. When I say very fast, they've got +9 to their initiatives.
Oh.
So that is a 20. just so Skill knows, we're playing 5th Ed. But we're playing classic 2014 rules, no variant rules, straight down the line. Okay, and there are 2 of these. So the moats just blink and zoom out. Obviously, Shautha, you're there with them all. Both of them are going to attempt to attack you. They have +4 to attack. These arcane ones. So first attack coming in. We're not using any variant rules to those of you who are in chat, so there's no flanking or any shenanigans like that. That is an 18 though.
That hits.
Okay, this might hit quite hard as these things let out.
May I use a reaction to cutting words, please?
I mean, what I'm hearing is, can I spoil the GM's fun? I mean, I suppose you can, if you really, really want to.
But it will have ramifications later.
No, I'm only joking. Of course you can. It's your action. It's your reaction. Go for it. Are you using cutting words against the attack roll or against the damage?
Attack roll, I believe.
Okay. I think you can use it against all 3 attack rolls, ability checks, and damages. Obviously, if you can negate the attack roll, then it's much better because no damage will be taken.
Yeah, 12 doesn't hit me.
12. What
Or
about 14?
14 doesn't hit me either. Armor
Okay.
class is 16.
So, I'm not happy about all of this nonsense. So I'm gonna make you do some work. What is your cutting words? How do you distract this moat of very, even more angry purple now? Furious, one might say.
Let's see. I've seen more vibrant dead fish.
Wow. I don't know, but somehow this small moat of arcane energy really takes that to heart and turns towards you as your words distract it and you become its target next. In the meantime, we have the second moat that is attacking, and it is going to attack you again, Shautha, because you were the one that was doing the mauling. I just need to clear the damage. I need to put this stat roll. Again, I think it's +4. Oops, sorry. I think the first one I rolled was a 9, so +4 is only a 13. That's a miss. Okay, so that is their 2 goes. So we come to player A, which is you, Alder.
So I think Alder's, because he sort of moved down part of the corridor to keep an eye, but he's glancing back and keeps an eye and glancing back. And then it's what? I don't even know whether fecker, and will try and attack one of them with his hunter's mark, which still has about half an hour to go.
Okay, absolutely. So you blink the hunter's mark onto him and make your attack. These are not easy to hit, though.
Okay. Hopefully you can still hear me because my
Your
picture
camera is
stuck
frozen in an action shot.
in an amazing action photo, but
I can hear you.
And my internet still seems to be okay. It's not. So let's carry on.
Yeah.
So make an attack. So what's that? Come on. That is a 23.
That is a 23. Well, the good news is that is a hit.
Cool. So here's some damage from the bow. So that is a total of 7 points of damage.
Very nice. Now you can use your Horde Breaker. I'm not gonna, because it's Theatre of Mind, I'm not gonna cheat. They both went for Shautha, so if you want to use your Horde Breaker,
Yeah.
you target the other one as well.
Yeah, so we'll shift position a bit and sort of wait until there's a bit of movement from the combat, and then when he sees the second one pop up, he will have a go. But not as good, so that's only a 10.
10 is a miss as you. Okay, very nice. So we move to Shautha. As these two things are buzzing around you at the moment, just these tiny, tiny small motes of like arcane crystal energy.
Yeah, she would like to try and hit them all.
Yep.
Hit them in the mole.
Okay, go for it. Ooh,
19.
a 19. You found that 19 does hit.
And 10 damage.
Can I remind you that that wasn't a natural 19 though, was it?
No. It was 14 on the die.
Yeah, perfect. So 10 damage, yeah. So
Yeah.
that is now, you see it cracking and you see sparks of arcane energy crackling and skittering down your metal armor and the like. But you've certainly done it damage and it's responding, almost becoming unstable because of it. Okay, and then we move to you, Alfred. One of them definitely seems, with your use of cutting words, to be coming towards you now.
Well, I will select that one for Vicious Mockery. Let's go. Well, with how you look, you might make a belt stud. Certainly not a gem.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, I need to roll. This is a wisdom check, saving throw. That is. They've got
Yeah.
+2 to wisdom.
Oh dear.
Bump. That's only a 7 on the dice, making a 9.
Excellent. Then that's a failure. It can take 3 damage.
Very nice.
Disadvantage for when it tries to shock me.
Okay, very good. So, yeah, it takes psychic damage as well. And then it is top of the round. This one here moves towards you, Alfred. Would you say that you are more than sort of 5 feet away from Shautha? Will it have to leave Shautha's attack?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, seeing the
Yeah.
sparking motes and wanting to be nowhere near it.
Yeah, and Shautha had got the big maul out and was like, okay, stay clear. And start swinging it. Makes perfect sense. So Shautha, you do get an attack of opportunity at this one here.
22, 17 on the die.
Yeah, 22 hits. Oh,
14 damage.
okay. And that's the already cracked one that you've been attacking, isn't it? That was the first one.
Yeah, basically whichever popped out first. That's the first one she was going to hit. Yeah.
Exactly. That's how I imagine it. So you crack this, and there's an explosion of electricity that sort of pulses across all of you. You basically feel it resonate through your bodies. Your metal crackles with purple glows. Your hairs sort of stand out on end.
Not on me. It's already in points.
Standing out. But I'm very keen to hear the kind of hairdos that Alfred and Alder have got. Alfred, you being are you coiffured? A coiffured bard? Is your hair always immaculate?
Oh, no, definitely not. Well, it's stylized to look very windswept and rugged.
Oh, it definitely is now. It looks like you've got a back comb as the electricity has caused it to spark out. What of you, Alfred?
I think even though he's a wee bit distance away, his grades will begin to go up, and he's like, "Oh, that's a grand. My vision is impaired. I can't see." Beard begins to raise up in front of his eyes. So in the background, you can sort of see he's having a wee bit of tussle with his beard.
Perfect. I love it. No damage, you'll be pleased to know, though, from that one. The second one, though, is going to attack Shautha, as before, with a d20 plus 4. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, that is a 21.
Yep. A hit.
Anything coming from you, Alfred?
Afraid not.
Okay, so this one does hit. And it just gets close to you and it blasts you with a much stronger shock of arcane energy. This is electrical lightning damage, and it does 9 points of damage.
Noted.
Okay. That is its go, though, a single attack, and we move back to you, Alder.
Yeah, so Alder will be doing much more than my image currently. So we'll be still half listening down there, but having got to grips with his hair, we'll try and take a shot at. So there's one left? Or
Yeah,
both left?
one's destroyed. One is electrocuting Shautha and doing quite a good job of it as well.
Okay, the one that was destroyed was the one I damaged.
Yes, this one is completely unharmed at the moment.
Okay, bonus action to shift the hunter's mark, so he'll glare at it and mutter a dwarvish curse as the greenish, foul-smelling, vaguely of cider that's gone off will surround it, and he will then attempt to take a pot shot at it.
Perfect. Oh, I'm assuming
22.
Yeah, that is absolutely a hit. Wow, I was worried about this encounter. I thought you might struggle against it, but you're doing really well.
That is 11 damage,
Very
piercing
nice.
the arrow.
Now you do have Horde Breaker. I mean, Alfred or no?
Shautha? No.
No, Andrew, no.
Okay.
I will not be suddenly revealing my back history.
Didn't say what kind
Or
of hunter you are.
neither the my favoured enemy. So
Perfect. Very nice as you do that. 11 points of damage is quite considerable. Not quite enough to turn it to blooded at the moment. And then we come to Shautha.
A crit.
Another
Cool.
crit. Very good. I need to get
This
some
is nice.
I need to get some kind of alert for crits. I shall make a note of that. Very good. Well done. So you do a lot of
15.
damage. 15 points of damage. You hit it really hard, and I think you kind of almost batter up it as it just kind of hits and it scatters maybe at 10 feet away from you with that critical hit, and it spins, and you can see that it's pulsing. It's trying to maintain its crystalline form, but it is not finished yet.
That's because I rolled really, really bad on that crit die.
I mean, 15 is still very nice, but I bring you back to my comment about maybe modifying crits for the next stream that we do as well, because you're perfectly right. 15 is good damage, especially the way that we're playing Dungeons and Dragons at the moment, but it would be so much sweeter to get even more on a crit. But we have the 1 hit point alert, as you almost killed it, but can. Alfred, this is your time, your spotlight moment, your time to shine. Whatever you do,
Take
don't
another glorious kill.
don't mess it up now. I mean, there's no oh yeah, there's all the pressure on you.
I was going to vicious mockery, but now I feel like I need to go with a statistically higher course. No. Let's go. Well, I think you've really got a calling as a baseball. You should give up on magic.
Very good. So you're going to do vicious mockery once again.
Yep.
I believe these got +2 to their wisdom. Bump.
50%.
A critical success. I could have been worse. That could have been a critical attack with 2d8.
Yeah, I'm happy sticking to vicious mockery.
Okay. This one, unlike the cockatrices, though, it has no emotion. It's gone from maybe angry to furious, and now it is vexed, and vexed at you, Shautha, as it zooms back towards you and attempts to attack you on its turn. +4 to hit. Bump. Let us see what it can do. That is an 18.
Yeah, that hits.
Anything happening before I apply the damage?
Yeah, I feel responsible for that.
It wasn't your fault. We are using math rocks to determine you can't control probabilities.
But yes, I will. Cutting words that, yeah, really. I mean,
I
clearly it's just a little fizzle.
how foolish are you going to feel if this doesn't work now?
If you roll a 1.
I mean, you tried. I mean, at least you tried. Oh,
Tell a story.
Take
16, equal to my armor class.
So that is a
Still.
hit. Yeah. I only need to match your armor class on an attack to hit you. But well played and well tried. The dice do tell a story. And I think, in seriousness, I know there's a little bit of banter going on, but the cutting words does use a resource from you, doesn't it? So
Yes, it uses my bardic inspiration.
there's a degree of effort and empathy here. You're doing everything you can to attempt to stop this small mote striking Shautha. And how does that express itself in you?
In me?
Well, no, in Alfred. He's doing his utmost to try and protect you in this moment.
It's just large agitated movement, trying to do anything to distract, somewhat forgetting about grace and posh, proper language. Just desperately trying to do it, and I'm very crestfallen and droopy when the fails to have an effect.
I mean, that sounds terrible. How about a devil's bargain?
Oh,
If you were attempting to do everything you can, in that last moment of realizing, would you interpose yourself between Shautha and yourself, or is that one step too far?
Shautha wouldn't let him. Shautha wouldn't let him.
Well, he can still try.
I do believe Alfred is extremely passionate at what he does. If he's doing something, he's dedicated, he will go for it.
So we're painting a story here. So Alfred does try to interpose himself. Shautha, you have narrative control here. You can take the damage yourself, as this is what the dice have determined, and push Alfred out of the way.
Yeah, as a soldier, and Alfred being what she views as a non-soldier, a non-combative, basically, she would definitely take the damage.
Beautiful storytelling, as Alfred does try to help you in every way possible, and you just stoically
with a hissing "Stay back."
Okay, and you take this. Only 4 points. The dice are being kind. Very nice.
She's not even bloodied yet. So.
Well, I mean, all I'm hearing is that I just need to up all of the damage incoming. I'll make a note of that. I think the words cocky fighter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For anybody who doesn't know Natascha strives for her characters to be in the utmost peril all of the times. Okay, so we move to Alder. You've seen this hustle and bustle. You can see this spark almost ready to pop. What would you like to do?
Right. Well, since the sort of mutual other protection society has been going on there, um, he'll sort of shrug and go, "Geez," and we'll just take a shot.
Perfect.
Wait for them to stop dancing,
Yep.
and then see if he can then take a shot against this thing. So, what's that? And that is only a 12.
That is unfortunately a miss as this arrow goes wide. It's very difficult to thread an arrow between the two of them in this tiny moat. As you try your best not to hit either of your comrades, it just goes a little wide. Anything else you would like to do?
I think he might move a wee bit closer to them, since if there's no obvious things going down to the south, he might
Not
be close.
right at this moment. Again, combat in Dungeons and
Mm.
Dragons, whilst this has been taking maybe 15 minutes, the reality is it's only been a few heartbeats. So with this, we move to B, which is you, Shautha.
No, complete miss.
Still sort of
7.
shocked and vibrating. You swing this down, and again, it probably crashes against some more of this crystal. Splinters going up everywhere. This thing, though, is like an angry wasp. It's kind of buzzing around you. It's not stationary hovering. It's just like all over. You're swinging around. And I think as Alder steps closer to you, he almost gets your maul as you're turning round. And it's like, whoa.
Also, she will say to Alfred, maybe stab it with the pointy end this time.
Wow. Cocky and sassy. I didn't realise that you were doing the vicious mockeries.
Please use your wee lightning conductor on.
So we move to you, Alfred.
Well, let's stick to this again. You don't have enough arcane power to power a cantrip.
Okay. I feel I need to do another roll. It's got +2 to this. That's another natural 20. Burning up these natural 20s, aren't you? Okay, yeah. It doesn't understand really. And I think now that it's got it can smell the burning flesh of Shautha. With these lightning burns, it's going to make another attack against you. That is a miss, though, so we don't need to worry too much about that. And then we move straight to you, Alder.
I hope you're keeping an eye on where my arrows are going, and he will actually run forward. So, how wide is the doorway?
I mean,
'Cause it looks like
the doorway's about a 5 foot sort of gap, really, and it's been cleared a little bit with the smashing of the crystals. So you can probably get about 5-10 feet into this room now without any kind of danger.
how far would I need to get in to actually be able to be in melee range of this thing?
No, this thing has come out of the room and is
Right.
fighting Shautha at the doorway, so it's quite easy for you to move past Shautha, sort of get into melee on the other side,
Yeah.
basically. This is a tiny creature; it's not blocking your movement.
So yeah, fed up of the possible permanent loss to his arrow numbers, he will run down, drop his arrow, item into action to draw a short, and then give a hit against it. because he's had quite enough of this.
Okay, go for it.
Even though he's less good.
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll high.
No, not so much.
Okay.
That would be a natural one.
Yeah.
So
So
if you want bad to happen as he draws his sword.
yeah, I think there's a number of things. There's you're trying to stow your bow, draw your sword. The ground is covered in fragmented shards of crystal now. There's this thing that's moving around like an angry wasp, and as you sort of stab out, you do strike Shautha. It bangs against her armor. There's no damage, but you just kind of, I don't know how does Shautha look at Alder as he kind of goes. It's like swatting a wasp and misses the wasp and hits you.
The flat of the blade, I get it. Just stick it with a pointy end next time.
Yeah, I think as he sort of clangs, it's almost like his follow is up to the height because he's, I would imagine, a bit smaller, and there will be a sheepish look. And yes, gotcha. Sorry.
Perfect. And then it's your turn, Shautha.
9.
A 9 is also a
Oof.
miss. Again, you've got this massive two-handed maul against this tiny, almost wasp-like creature, and why don't you stay still? I think there's kind of flagstones now that are being cracked
Shut.
and shattered, more crystal, lots and lots of noise with this massive maul that you are using.
Each time she hits the wall or the floor or the crystal, it's like a boom.
Yeah.
So those poor guys behind the door must be thinking, "Oh, more knocking, more evil things coming our way."
I think yes, you've certainly made yourselves known now. But we move to you, Alfred.
I'm running out of insults. See.
You don't have to
Admit,
say them all of the time. That is little
I'm
mean of
enjoying
you.
giving it a go.
But yeah, I would recommend bringing a bajillion to the 24-hour game because you might need
I
them.
don't dare play a part in that.
Fair enough.
But I'll just stick to something simple. You call that an attack? I've seen kittens hit harder.
Okay, very nice. I'm not used to having to make these rolls. Having to make for some reason I had a D12. I think the D20 was a 5 though, so I'm going to say fundamentally it's okay for GMs to go, oh my god, will this encounter ever end? And this thing has only got 1 hit point, and oh my god, it needs to end. So I did roll a 5. I'm not going to re-roll that 5. It's got +2. That's below it. So give me a description as that psychic damage does do the final crack and the thing explodes again.
I think I've been trying to dive in front of there and getting pushed aside and panting a bit, and my voice goes a 2 octave higher than I'd perhaps prefer to admit. It just resonates with the crystal, causing it to, well, the
Lovely.
note to sort of disintegrate.
So you sort of go a little. Is it soprano that is the high note that shatters glass?
Yeah.
So yeah, you find a new range in your voice, and you say that, and it does cause it to crack. Again, a spark of electricity, and then the purple motes just dissipate as you have succeeded on dealing with these curiosities. We are out of initiatives, but at this point, the door behind you is thrown open, and you see glaring out. They are backlit by flickering torchlight. There is one that has a short bow, one that has a light crossbow, and another one that it's got basically what appears to be a short sword in one hand and a long sword in another. And they're all glaring down the corridor. What monsters are you? One of them states, looking at you all.
Oh, that's
Monsters.
a bit rude. I believe we
We've been
probably
fighting monsters. We're not monsters.
Well, who are you? This is our find. This
it's
is ours.
customary for you to introduce yourself before asking for another's name. And I've got to admit, by the corpse we've found so far, the disappearances, you seem like you could perhaps do with some help. We're not here to steal this find from you, but it's clearly a very dangerous place.
Yeah, what he said, as I pick up my longbow and notch an arrow.
I thought we were after the gold in this place. Now you're telling them it's their gold?
No, I'm saying we can
I got
form a
mouths to feed,
partnership.
dude.
Well, bugger diplomacy then.
Well, no, I think you spoke first, and they are focusing on your words at the moment. And what are you? It sounded much like a persuasion to me rather than a deception or an intimidation. Would I be right with that?
Yeah, nothing I said was intentionally deceptive, so persuasion sounds fine to me.
And I'm going to give you advantage because they are terrified.
Okay, yes. Persuasion. So that is a 26.
Very nice. So they begin to lower their weapons somewhat. One of them turns and looks into the room and says, Auric, no, I think they want to parley. They are saying they're not here for the loot. Of course they're here for the loot, you idiot. What do you think this is a holiday resort? People come here to pass the time? Next you'll be telling me that they're historians.
Well,
But bring them down. But watch them. Watch them. I bet they're tricksy. None of that is sort of disguised, and they sort of nod. They lower their weapons, but their weapons are to hand, as it were. And they say, well, if you want to parley, come into our room.
we okay to check this room doesn't have any further dangers that's going to come at us? We've already had several things come out of it.
No. Come and talk. And then you can do
Oh.
whatever you want within reason.
I don't think, I mean, I'm not drawing conclusions here, Alfred, but I don't think that's your dad there telling you what to do. If you want to go and check this, I've got a fair argument against just going down there. We've just had bits beaten, well, some of us have had bits beaten the crap out of us. So I'm quite happy to parley here for a bit. If you want to go and look and check that there's nothing else that'll come out and attack all of us brave investigators here.
Is that your stance as well, Shautha?
I think you're being asked a question, Shautha, from Alfred.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
It's your stance as well that we can parlay from here and to check out the room first rather than let ourselves
Oh
be
yeah,
surrounded.
yeah. Shautha will happily bash more crystals to bits if it gets us to the things that you sensed earlier. The thing that were like magical potions or something.
Perfect.
So, well, we appreciate your offer to parley. We are not following orders from you. You wish to talk? It is a dangerous place. We are happy to do so. But do not be under the impression that we are suddenly under you.
Yeah, you can talk to our friend here, Alfred, and I will just go continue in this room. So yeah, you guys talk, and I'll just listen. And wang, wang, wang.
Boss,
Three potions and
smashing up the crystal now. Ah, crystal. That was quite pretty. We didn't look at that, did we? No. So eventually, the one called Auric, the one that you haven't seen before, comes to the door to parley. He's stocky with a mass of messy, curly hair. His face is half covered with a dirty bandana. It looks like he has recently taken a wound to his eye. He says, "The name's Auric. They call me the Madman. That's 'cause I'm crazy, you see. Crazy. So you don't want to be pushing me. Now, we got here first. This is all ours. So we need to come to some agreement, or we're going to have to resolve it in a different kind of way."
well, at all, Rick, I'm certain we can come to a mutually beneficial agreement. You've already lost several of your men. Do you not think
How
it'd
do
be
you
better?
know? How do you know that?
Well, we found one slightly disassembled back in the corridor there, and you lot do talk loud when you don't think there's anyone around.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That's a good enough. I don't like it, but maybe we do, or maybe we don't.
I think there's enough here trying to, whether it's automated bladey things or possible arachnid invasions or crystal creatures, that we don't need to be idiots to each other.
Fair play. Fair play. Okay. Well, how about we work together? We both explore these dungeons of Thar, and we rendezvous back to this room with all of the loot, as it were, and then we split it. Now I've got more in my band than you have, so how about 70-30 split? Sounds fair.
That makes sense if there's 7 of you and 3 of us.
Well, I mean, there was 7. There's now
Oh.
only 4.
Oh, we
Fair
must have
play.
missed one of them dying.
Well, who have you seen? What are you talking about? What do you know about us?
Well, there's the cut in half guy at the entrance corridor. And then you said one of them disintegrated.
One of ours, yeah, that's another one of ours.
We just said that 3 of them died, so.
Yeah, one of them went down the well. They didn't come back. What's
There was
funny about
something very
that?
shiny down there. Could very well be worth it.
Yeah, maybe you should go down with that laugh. See how you fare down there. So, do we have a deal? Yeah.
I think, given the current members available, A 45 to 55% split would be more appropriate.
Yeah, well, they got family, so we've got to give them family their share.
So do we.
Rolling off the persuasion that you did before, and various other circumstances, like they've lost 3 of their men already. They pause for a moment. Auric looks at the rest of his lackluster band, looks at you appraisingly and says, right, you got yourself a deal, yeah? We explore this place, bring all the stuff back here, and then we split it. We don't interfere in each other's businesses. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Good.
Alder's thinking back to when he's been opposite people across a card table and would like to see whether he can get a read on this. But is this someone who's good to their word or someone who's likely to well?
I would like an insight roll then, please. I think that is appropriate. As you said that you are a card player and used to this as part of your background, more than happy for you to have advantage on this.
Oh, thank you.
That's okay.
That is a 24. Thank you for the.
Very good. No. I mean, you can read people. This is what you do as like your hobby. So he's loyal to his group, and he doesn't like this situation. But with the fact that you know all about his group and the tragedies that have happened, and nothing has befallen you lot, he's a little nervous to confront you. So that is compelling him. We might as well do a deal. It's not so much he's a nice person. This is a marriage of convenience, and it's definitely convenient to him at the moment. So yeah, you think he's going to. I mean, with that role, you think he's going to take limited chances with himself and the others to get any loot, and then hopefully with your abilities, you're going to get quite a lot of loot as well. So he's still going to go and explore. Don't get me wrong, but they're going to be quite careful. And yeah, they're more than happy to do the split with you.
Okay, he will quietly pass that on to his 2 companions. That don't expect them to be. I think that they're going to be a wee bit overly cautious, probably relying on us a bit. But I think they'll come through when it comes to being fair with the loot.
And I don't know. Sorry, you go first.
Yeah, continue on the muttering. Are we happy to split this, or if we're not, then the guard is down?
Well, we've gone through, looks like about the same room. This is quietly, and we're still 100%. They seem to have a wee bit of an attrition rate. So,
Yeah.
whoever's left we'll split with.
Sounds fair. We can always renegotiate the rate at the end to be proportionate to the amount of people that are actually leaving.
If any of them leave.
Well,
It does cross your minds that at the very worst, their dead corpses will mark out various traps for you.
well done. What is beyond that door that you are holed up in at the moment?
It's just a basic room. You come down, have a look if you want. We're not holding any cards up our sleeves. It's relatively safe and it's a good place to hole up in, rest up. Come and have a look if you want. And that seems to be genuine. You know, that they don't want you to think that they're hiding anything from you.
Have we? I want to make sure we get the potions first.
Yeah, Shautha would have picked them up after she cleared all the crystal out.
Well, let me describe. It does take you quite a while, and I'm going to cross off another 10 minutes of that clock. So we are 20 minutes into your 60-minute clock. But you smash your way through it. You don't necessarily clear the entirety of the room, but you clear a path to where you think some of these things are. These conversations going on during that time as well. So, what you do find there is upon this bench where all of these crystals seems to have initially sort of spawned from, eventually filling this room and maybe creating these moats, or maybe the moats were created first. Difficult to tell. You basically see that there's enough equipment here to gather together a full kit of alchemical supplies should you wish to. You also see that there are 3 potions. One of them is red in colour and is actually labelled healing. The other one is sort of a strange greenish colour. It's also labelled healing. And then there's a final one which is sort of bluish in colour, and the label unfortunately is so badly faded that you don't know what it is. So you can make up. Michael's camera has disappeared. Oh,
Yeah.
So
There we go. I was trying to get it to work because I
yeah.
recognise it's been stopping a lot.
Now, what is interesting is, because the way that we've got it set up, if you do that with your camera, it puts Natascha's face where you are. So it's not a problem with you doing it, because we'll have to do that in the 24-hour. So would you like to make a note, Shautha, of certainly the 3 potions you pick up? Potion of healing red, potion of healing green, and blue potion unknown. And did you want to gather together the alchemical supplies or not?
If it looks like it's worth money, she will definitely gather them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. A lot of them are damaged here now. This looks like it could have been like a wizard's workshop at one point, but a lot of the stuff has been crushed by the growth and expansion of the crystals or zapped by them. But there's enough for a basic field alchemical kit that would be worth a small amount of coin. But I say small amount, at least some gold pieces. Okay, so you gather those together. All of this is all part of that 10 minutes section. With that 10 minutes done and those items gathered together, are you heading into the room with the other adventuring party, or are you sort of waving farewell to them a moment and carry on with your explorations?
Yeah, they say there's nothing in there. I don't see any reason to go. It's not the most ideal situation, but our partnership is based on trust. I don't see any harm in showing a trivial amount.
So we're going to pay them a little visit.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to ask them about the exact circumstance, disappearing, disintegration thing, because the others I can get, went down a well, eaten by spiders, went into a room got bisected, but that one I'm a bit more worried about.
Okay, do that then.
Okay, so you head down into the room. The room itself looks sort of very basic. It's flagstones. They've put a few of their own bedrolls out. They've shoved everything into a corner that was in this room, really. They've obviously gone through it with the fine-tooth comb. They introduce themselves. There are 4 of them. There's Oric, who's the leader. He's got helter-skelter eyes. There is Jessa, who is using the light crossbow. Then there is someone called Lennox, a massive brute. He's the one with the short sword and the warhammer. Not warhammer, the short sword and long sword. He's hulking, broad-chested, bulging muscles, wears a tattered leather vest. Jessa, small and wiry with sharp eyes and a silent demeanour. She seems to be skulking kind of in the shadows at the moment. And then finally is Mira. Tall, dark hair tied in a loose ponytail. She is the one with the short bow and has a dagger and also a whip in sort of attached to her belt. They all have been sharing rations here and resting up. There's a sense of unease amongst them, not because of you, but because they've lost 3 of their 7 companions together. They all look at you as perhaps replacement members. Not Oric, of course, but the others. Maybe they have lost some faith in their so-called leader.
How big is the room?
Sorry, yes, you are mapping. The door is in the northern wall of this room. The room itself is only about 15 foot by 15 foot. As your eyes scan it all, though, can you all just give me perception rolls, please? We'll start off with Alder.
Okay, and that is an 8 because he's busy looking at people and working out if they're 5 foot away from each other.
Yeah, you do know that Mira does seem to have 2 quivers loaded full of arrows, but beyond that, the 8, nothing else. Shautha.
Even worse, 5.
Lennox is about as big as you. You're not quite sure what his ancestry is, but he's a big fella.
She's got a really bad first impression of him because he doesn't take care of his armor.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get the impression he's much of a soldier, but you probably think he has anger management problems and perhaps drops into a rage occasionally. Just
Yeah,
saying.
she's keeping a very eye on him.
You
She's watching him the most of the 4.
probably seen types like that before on the battlefield. They get uncontrollable, break formation, charge shield walls, etc., etc. And finally, Alfred, give us a perception roll.
20.
Very nice. Your eyes, though, don't scan the 4 sort of adventurers in here. It scans the room itself. your eyes don't pick up anything, but as you sort of move around, you feel a strange, just very, very slight movement of air on your face as you turn and look at the eastern wall, about, well, in the middle of it. So if it's 15 feet, it's sort of 10 feet from the northern wall. And you think there might be a secret door there. And that is where we're going to draw a conclusion to tonight's stream. You have made it into the dungeon. You have begun to explore. Unlike the new friends, adventure friends that you have made, you haven't lost any of your companions. I believe, Shautha, you are wounded though.
Yep.
And showing signs of this, and you've cleared one of the rooms. You're making good progress. Only time will tell if you finish off the rest of this dungeon.
Is this where we get to show our maps?
I mean, you can show your maps sort of now visibly if you want. It'd be quite good fun. Oh yeah. Oh, very nice. Look at this. Yeah, that's looking good. Oh, that's looking good as well. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to post them in Discord. The cameras
Yeah.
are finding it very difficult to focus on them because I know what I'm looking at. If anybody's interested, pop across to our Discord. You can find it in our socials on the Twisted Narrative Twitch page. I want to thank all of you for watching. Thanks, Skill, for watching. And I do need to talk to you about the second edition D&D game that we should be playing soon. And I hope your holiday to Wales went well. In the meantime, as I'd like to do, I want to thank our magnificent cast, and I want to just get a quick, how are you enjoying it so far? Best moments, etc., from it. Just some passing thoughts before we say good night, one and all. So, quickly start with you, Michael.
Yeah, it's great. Really enjoyed it. Haven't mapped in a long time, so was apologies for keeping. I was like
No.
obsessed with it. Okay, how big? I still want to ask you how big is Storm because I haven't drawn that one. So yeah, it becomes quite addictive to it.
Yeah,
So, but no, that was really good, and thanks to Natascha and Carl as well.
yeah. Fantastic. I'm glad you enjoyed the mapping. It's something that in modern games we don't tend to do, especially with the advent of virtual tabletops and everything else. But what I'm trying to do is get that old school feel, but with new school kind of methodology. And games have evolved, and there is interesting ways of doing things. Same question to you, Shautha, or rather Natascha.
Yeah, I quite liked it, especially the mapping. I hadn't done that since Bard's Tale 3.
Yeah, Bard's Tale 3. I remember that, and I think I mapped it as well.
Yeah, I still have the box, and I still have all the maps that I draw back then.
Yeah, no, there's fun to be had, and I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see on 24-hour how it goes. And I do need to be reminded to give descriptions because I forget I can give a descriptive description, but I don't give necessary dimensions. Sorry, who's going to say, Natascha?
Yeah, I also liked how having 3 rather distinct characters give a very nice old party feel to it.
Yeah. I think, and I don't mean this as a criticism because each table has its own fun, but I think these days, 5th edition, every class can subclass into something that other classes can do. So it becomes a huge melting pot of everybody can be a healer, everybody can be a fighter or a DPS or a tank or anything else, which is cool, but so many choices, it fundamentally means that you don't get that feeling of specialists, and sometimes it's nice to know your role in the party, as it were. I'm very interested to see how this goes. Last but not least, Alfred, or rather Kyle.
I quite enjoyed my first foray into playing a bard, and very much enjoyed the cockatrices and the hare fighting each other.
Yeah, very good. So I had a blast. It was really nice kind of running this theatre of the mind sort of old school. It's gave me a few more ideas of what we can do in the 24-hour stream and the like. This isn't the end though. If I can gather another party, I think in 2 weeks' time we've got a slot free again. So if you are available, um, we'll try and arrange a continuation of this one, moving it forward so you can perhaps see the end of it. As always, I have over prepped. I don't really want to force the encounters or kind of give it so much pace that you're missing things and not being able to do the things your character wants to do. But that said, I think you've made tremendous progress. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 encounters, which in a 3-hour slot, together with introductions and everything else, I don't think is too slow. In terms of being a better GM, in my mind, I could have either fudged the dice with that arcane mote when it only had 1 hit point left. But again, I don't like fudging dice, so it was like, do I just move things on, or does it have another couple of rounds to do its stuff? And it wasn't so much that I was interested in using your resources up. I just thought it was quite funny having this tiny, almost wasp-sized sort of thing kind of zapping you. But anyway, that was my thoughts. Last but not least, thank you very much, everybody. If you get the chance, please give us a follow. If you are able to, give us a sub. It really helps us out. But more importantly, put that date in your diary, 23rd and 24th of August. That's when we will be doing the real thing, the charity stream for 3 wonderful charities. But check us out in hopefully 2 weeks' time as we continue this and do more testing. For now, thank you very much and good night. Thank you all. Bye for now.
Goodbye.